latest fashion. Okay, welcome to, finally, I'm doing the review of the Graffiti Bridge album. I hope you like the little layout behind me. First of all, let's just do some housekeeping business before we go any further. One, I have to say I'm very disappointed with the reaction to the videos so far. The last video about the permutations of Graffiti Bridge was terrible. 21 views, my biggest flop in history, even worse than a bad video I did about David Bowie in 2016. It was basically a bigger flop than the singles on Graffiti Bridge after Around and Round, pretty much. Okay, bit disappointed here. The other thing, this big thing that's happened here too is that we've just got coronavirus back after 3 months without it, thanks to a group of very sick ethnic minorities living in the ghetto part of Auckland. So yeah, that's really made my day basically. And finally, I really love the videos that Prince's friend's been doing. The one his live stream was quite funny. The two reviews by Mr. Ants about the two single hits, which were really good. Really like those. And yeah, so no further ado, let's go through the Graffiti Bridge album review. Okay, the next video after this one will be the one where I review the singles and promotion and how well it did. Okay, but this will be the fun video. I'm going to review it honestly. Okay, overall, before we even get started, I have to say the worst thing about this album is there are two things that really bring it down from the classic to basically satisfactory to good, overall be a way to describe it. One, there's just too much overproduction, and everywhere there's just all these overdubs of all these organs, instruments, hand clapping, extra voices, and some of it's okay, but it's to the point where you almost can't hear the song underneath. And two, the associated artist tracks are really just unnecessary. I mean, virtually none of them are any good. I mean, at the very most, one would I consider average, two mediocre, and the rest are just complete absolute garbage. And as we get through the video, you'll see I'll criticise quite a few more things about this album, but there are some good points about it too. But sadly, like all of Prince's albums from Batman onwards, I mean, there's always at least one or two things that just bring it down from the high quality, tight excellence of his two Lovesexy output, basically. Lovesexy was the last really good album, and from this point on, they're not as good. But anyway, Graffiti Bridge is still exciting enough. It's got its moments, you know, I mean, it's definitely got some very strong parts in it. Okay, so without further ado, let's start. We're going to review them in the order they appear on the album, so we're just going to do Prince and associated artist tracks to come up. Okay. And I'm also going to try and give each song a mark out of 10. Okay, and first of all, we'll start off with the first track, which is Can't Stop This Feeling I Got, I Can't Stop. This almost kind of sets the album up sort of like, it almost looks like sort of Michael Jackson's Shadow Dance there, except it looks a lot gayer and a lot less convincing. It's an alright song. I mean, it definitely sets the album up like Let's Go Crazy does with Purple Rain. It starts off with, Dear Dad, things didn't work out like I expected them to. Sometimes I feel like I want to explode. And of course, already straight away you got this stupid overdub. You got the sound of an exploding bomb or something going off in the background. And it's actually quite a rocky little song. Lots of, you know, good guitar playing, some great Lynn drum running into it. And again, I think that goes back to the 1982, you know, Can't Stop This Feeling. I think you might have even left the same Lynn in, except of course 89, 90s put all the production over top of it. This is a good starter. I mean, it's a nice little rocky ballad go, I can't stop this feeling I got. You know, one thing that really does work for Graffiti Bridge, if nothing else, is that a lot of the songs have very memorable hooks and choruses. I mean, this has got a great hook running through it. There's some very good guitar playing in it. But even then, I think some of the organ add-ons are just a bit too much. And the, yeah, I can't stop. Even though I like screaming, I think this screaming kind of wears the song down a bit. Overall, I give this song 7 out of 10. It's an okay song. It's not a great song, but it's not really a bad one either. Nothing on this album is really, really bad. There's no Boy Troubles or Lemon Crushes on this album, but there's a lot that really sort of fits in that sort of mediocre, less than good sort of area. Okay, second, New Power Generation Part 1. Now again, this song comes from the 1982 song Bold Generation. Okay, first of all, it starts off with probably some of the most atrocious Romeo who go, yo, kicking the new noise for the 90s. And I'm like, what? Okay, that might have been great in 1990, but now it's 2020. I mean, kicking the new noise for the 90s sounds dated. Basically, it's alright. I mean, one good thing about New Power Generation, it's got a really good chorus going, you know, we're tired of your old-fashioned music, your old ideas. We're sick and tired you telling us what to do. Woohoo! And it's sort of like a whole big band sing along. I mean, Prince is singing, most of the MPG are singing, the Game Boys are singing. There's probably Lisa and Jill are singing on the song as well, and we might even have, I'm not sure if Ingrid is singing or not. I mean, Ingrid just comes across as Prince's most forgettable leading lady ever. Basically, I mean, Mr. Ants reviewed the song, absolutely loved it. I almost agree. It's got some good parts to it. There's some very good melody in it, you know, and but at the same time, it's just a very simple song. There's no real deep message. I mean, the agenda is that we're sick of your old-fashioned music, your old ideas, basically. But it's actually aimed at members of the time who don't like basically Prince's Club Glam Slam in the movie, and they don't like his music, and basically they only play the same formulaic, dated funk music as they put it, you know. But yeah, it's all right. 7 out of 10 again. Okay, next we have the first associated artist track, and that's Release It by The Time. Now, of all the Time songs, this is probably the worst. I mean, I usually love The Time. I usually love Morris and his big braggadocio, but here, it's just annoying. It's part of, yo, Stella, if you don't think I'm going to do, you better wake up, girl, and release it. You know, let's get this party fucking right. But there is a funny scene in Graffiti Bridge where they come in, and Prince goes, release it! And then the guy puts on the guitar and tapes it and plays it back on that dated late 1980s Jagadoo bloody guitar thing. You know, that's about the best part. Going, come, release it. Oh, what time is this? Morris's rapping is alright, but it's ruined by all the extra overdubs and sounds like, you know, motorbikes skidding off and, you know, like, and also like all the extra dubbed in plastic drums and plastic guitars. This is the first time that Prince really starts putting in lots of plastic touches into the music. It's a very plastic sounding song, to be honest, and basically, I don't like plastic music. I like real music by real musicians. I'm sure when Prince was saying it in the 2010s, he'd look back at this album and go, wow, Graffiti Bridge, that might have been the most artificial thing I ever wrote, basically. Overall, this is dreadful. The production's very slack, you know. I mean, the lyrics are generally quite sexist. It's typical of the whole Time's attitude towards women, that they're just basically sex objects and nothing else. 3 out of 10. Okay, 4, The Question of You. Now, this is a song reviewed very recently by Mr. Ants, and I mostly agree with him. I think The Question of You is a very beautiful song. I mean, it's one about, you know, how Prince is questioning his attraction towards someone and how he really wants to get with her, or maybe he doesn't, you know, but basically he just wants to see if that also getting with her would be morally sanctionable, you know, with God and going around the corner. Some great lines like, must I become naked? No image at all. Must I tell the whole of my faces? No, when I decide which road to choose. Some great sort of wow quite organ fixes, but at the same time, there is a bit of noodling. I mean, some of the guitar solos just stay a wee bit too long. There's a few too many overdubbed weird noises in. The hand clapping towards the end is really rather. Some people might like it. I think it's just a wee bit overdone. I think the song just overstays its welcome a bit. The original 1985 version of The Question of You is much more concise. It's not all the overdubs and extra stuff going in. Still, I give it an 8 out of 10. It would be a 10 out of 10 song if it wasn't for all those extra touches and just some of the gimmicky bits to it. It's not bad, you know, yep. Okay, the next song, well, Elephants and Flowers. Okay, well, I like the driving beat of the song, you know. I mean, I like the lyrics straight down, doom, doom. Got to find some love, elephants and flowers. Yep, interesting title for a song, by the way. You know, I mean, I think the chorus, there will be peace for those who love God a lot, is incredibly lame and milquetoast. I think it's just a very weak song overall. The vocals are okay. I'm not happy with all the mud in the organs and sort of like the dubbed in guitars. I mean, Prince is an awesome guitar player. You don't need fucking guitar overdubs on a song like this. And I mean, there's a bit too much reliance on musical breakdowns and segues. I know it sounds harsh, but I'm not really a big fan of the song. It's very forgettable. I'm only going to give it 5 out of 10. Okay, then we get to the second artist track. Associated. It's Round and Round with Tevin Campbell. Tevin was very young at this time. This is long before he was busted hanging around in a loo. Okay, he sounds a lot like a girl in this song, I think. It's not a bad song, though. It's a well-written song. I like Prince's sort of background vocals going, round and round, and what we're looking for still can be someone. And I like his little rap going, one day I'll make it in the big city. It's a bit too cutesy pie, you know, force feed a bag of sugar down my throat, though. It's a bit too 80s for the hard edge 90s. This is like 80s cuteness, you know. But overall, it's still a good song. It's one of the few songs that has absolutely no guitar in it at all. Basically, it's just all beats and sounds. You know, it's very Quincy Jones production. Still, I give it 8 out of 10 because it's definitely one of the better songs on the album. It's a nice little upbeat pop number. And again, I mean, what it lacks in sort of, you know, performance and technique, it makes up for in songwriting. I mean, it's just one of those perfect, you know, sort of poppy songs that Prince can just basically, he could just rip them off in his sleep, basically. So, I'm not going to knock it. Okay, next we get to Weekend Funk. Now, I've already told you guys how much I love Weekend Funk, and of course the 1986, you know, Weekend Funk versions. And even though there is a bit of silly overdubbing in the song, overall this is definitely one of the better songs on the album. I mean, it's probably top five or six, you know. Not quite in the league of Still Would Stand All Time, Enjoying Repetition, but definitely up there. I love George Clinton's singing. He's always funny. He's playing some little parliament touches going, all the things I think that we can do when we alone. We can tell you stories till you get tired. And Prince is singing to us really great, you know. And I love the coda part going, everybody funking over here, because funking over there ain't shit. Very well, funking over here, because funking over there ain't shit. That's a really little sort of nice Parliament funkadelic touch, you know. It's a really funky song. And I mean, I actually don't mind the overdubs too much. Still, this is a good song, and I'm going to give it 8.5 out of 10. I do like it. It's definitely one of the highlights on the album. And then we get to Joy and Repetition, and basically, I mean, on any given day, this could be the best song on the album. It only really competes with one other. And I mean, Joy and Repetition is just incredibly written. It's about, you know, walking into an introverted place. He said suddenly he said the words over and over until the lips of her condition could take no more. I mean, and then it started to rain. I love the painting of imagery, and the other thing I love about the singing, and of course there's that beautiful guitar singing part, and then go, Joy, why don't you love me, baby? And you got this guitar going, damn, and why don't you love me, baby? And the scream touch go, yeah, you know, I just, wow. Another great thing why I love Joy and Repetition is it's a very intelligent song. There's a lot of, how shall I say, dumb songs on this album, songs that don't really go much beyond, you know, singing, dancing, and shaking their ass, especially the time songs. But Joy and Repetition is some deep stuff, and you can tell that just like Weak and Funk, this is definitely one of the songs that was written a long time ago, long before Prince was getting involved in all this vacuous crap. Even better about Joy and Repetition, there's no rap and there's no blimmin', you know, hip hop funkery in it, basically, which is even better. And then we go from one of the very best, 9.5 out of 10, one of the very best songs down to one of the very worst songs, and that's Love Machine by the time. This song, the only good thing about it is it's a fairly funky song. Then I can just go and launch into how awful this song is. Basically, Elisa Fiorello sings a love bimbo going, to turn your body out, oh, I've got the noise to make you scream and shout out. And then they start asking, she goes, what time is it? Star sign, you know, and it's just as bad as the sort of, you know, the Love to the Nines, you know, sex rap on Love Symbol. But this is really weak. The lyrics are extremely sexist and offensive towards a woman, you know. Okay, there is, I suppose the sound on it's pretty good though, but this is just complete rubbish, basically. It doesn't go me on, basically, how let me drink you down. I've got the noise to make you scream and shout out. It sings in a sort of sexified voice. It's just sex kitten bimbo rubbish. I won't even give it more than 2 out of 10. It's just garbage. Okay, and then we've got basically Tick Tick Bang. I mean, I really love the 1981 version of this song, but I really don't like this version. This version is like, you're such a bombshell. If I ever get you, gonna go how far myself. Tick 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 Bang all over your. I know it's about masturbation and Prince is singing a really cute, sexy falsetto, but there is just so many overdubbed in noises and production touches. We've got more of that horrible plastic looped in guitar, looped in keyboards. Everything is just so plastic on the song. It's like a Chinese factory. That's how fucking plastic it is. This song, I mean, and some of the guitar playing is just hilariously bad. It's just the same being looped in over and over again. This is just garbage. I wouldn't give it more than 2 out of 10. Basically, then we get to song 11, Shake. Now, Shake is a bit annoying, you know, but it has got a really sort of like, you know, keyboard stab and it going dun, 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 dun. And then Morris's singing is pretty good in the way it's like, hey, hey, people, what you come here for? Basically, it's your standard, you know, shake, get your butt on the floor, sort of like the Bird type dance song. But unlike the Bird, this doesn't work anywhere near as well. What's interesting too is a lot of these time tracks were way below the standard of the time tracks that came out on Pandemonium. I mean, if you compare this to the one other, this was released as the 5th single off Graffiti Bridge. It went absolutely nowhere. And if you compare this song, which isn't that bad, I mean, I give it 5 or 6 out of 10, maybe 5 out of 10. I mean, you compare it to, say, Jerk Out at the same time. I mean, Jerk Out is just a magnificent song. It's pretty much the same thing. It's about sex and dancing, but it's so much better. It's average. I mean, for this album, it's average. For any other album, it's garbage, but, you know, it's not bad. And then we get to another song, Thieves in the Temple. And again, we're back to Prince. And Thieves in the Temple is a magnificent song. It's a perfect pop single. Great lyrics going, don't you know I'm holding on? The best that I can. Love, please come and see. The better the man, feeling the thieves in the temple. Some great singing by Prince. There's a bit of guitar in it, you know. You know, I love the screams where he goes, you said you loved me, but you lied. You lied. Love comes. You were lying. I just love that sort of soul screaming. You know, basically it's about a man, you know, looking for a woman who's basically had her taken away from some evil guys. And it's like the thieves in the temple. The woman's body is the temple, basically. So someone else is defiling the woman. It's the love craction of the part when Morris and Jerome come on to Aura and Graffiti Bridge. You know, they're basically the thieves and Aura is the temple, basically. Really great pop song. I love the guitar part. I love that. Kicking me in my heart, tear me all apart, 'cause you and me could be a work of art. Again, typical Prince quirkiness. Great pop single. This is again just like some of these other songs Prince writes. This is just perfect pop single stuff that he writes off in his sleep, like New Power Generation. This is a great song. 9 out of 10. Third best on the album. It's basically behind Joy and Repetition and Still Withstand All Time. You After's Blow on the cover on the best song. And then we get into another absolutely horrendous time song, and that is The Latest Fashion. Okay, the time part is a wee bit mediocre. It's quite bad. I mean, the part goes, I said, you know, I wanted you. Again, Morris is singing in that whiny, insistent voice. The best part of The Latest Fashion, though, and it's not the horrible, you know, overdubbed voices in the background, is Prince's part. Prince comes in and does some really good singing. You know, he talks about, you know, lying in the heat of passion, but Prince comes on and actually does a rap. And I know this is really weird. Prince's rap is actually pretty good. You know, they go, and I'm back, and I'm black, that better than a heart attack, and I'm a surefire cure for any disease. Ain't nobody funky like me. The way he says funky like me sounds like, like, ain't nobody gonna fuck with me. So Prince is, it's a gentle rap, and sometimes Prince just really hits the flow, and he hits the flow on this album. The reason I'm looking way low is my face got really ugly. I got double chin. That's what I'm trying to. You know, please, when you watch this video, please look at the shit in the corner, you know, and I'll hold this up as well while I'm talking. You know, don't look at me because I look fucking ugly, basically. But anyway, this is hilarious. The Latest Fashion, overall, I give it 4 out of 10 because I do like Prince's rap. There is some good beats in it, and there's also a lot of overproduced rubbish. And then we get to Melody Cool. Well, I'm kind of not 100% sure to comment on Melody Cool because I have a lot of respect for Mavis Staples, her voice and her talent. And overall, I used to really absolutely couldn't stand the song. Lately, I've come to tolerate it. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a good song. Oh, I'll say it's okay. I mean, I do love her singing. The part that's stuck, I've crossed many bridges in my time, crossed them all big and small. That part can go, but when she starts singing, when she goes, I'm still Melody and I'm still cool. Melody cool. And the part I love is Prince does this Michael Jackson like, so it's like, ow! That is funny, you know. He goes, they call me Melody Cool, and I was here long before you. If you're good, I will love you, but I'm nobody's fool. That part I like because she gets into her soul growl, and I love soulful woman. I mean, Mavis has a lot of talent. I mean, I think that in some way, what Prince was doing for her was squandering her talents a bit, but, you know, Prince was just trying to be, you know, like trying to look after the people he respected. Now, the Staples Singers had a massive hit back in 1971. I'll Take You There, and they also had their father Pop Staples, who basically did a lot of sort of, you know, uplifting gospel soul music, and then they got into sort of like black rights type music. So I mean, I have a lot of respect for Staples. I'm not going to say anything bad. This song's average. I'll give it 6 out of 10 because I do like her singing. There's a bit too much overproduction, but considering Prince wrote it for her, and it's not that bad actually. I mean, over time you might even find I get to like it more and more. I mean, it's definitely a lot better than people give it credit for. A lot of people say, oh, Melody Cool, you know. But then again, I mean, you have got, again, one thing Prince does do right, he knows how to select these just powerful soul divas. I mean, he already had Rosie, you know, on the Nude Tour. She doesn't appear on this album, basically, but she definitely was brought in to do vocals on the next album. But anyway, I mean, Mavis Staples, I'm not going to sag her off, basically. She was with Paisley because she'd already recorded her first album, Time Waits for No One. And then she'd hang around for another album in 1993, which had I've forgotten the name of it, that's The Voice. It had the single Jaguar on it. And then, we get to Still Withstand All Time, and I absolutely love this song. I mean, I just love the gospel inflections. I mean, it's a building song, you know. I mean, it's about basically, you know, at the end, you know, where there's been the big fight between Morris and all the other bands, and basically this is when they're all trying to come together and mend the violence. Everyone's walking across the stage going, there's not that far, my brother, we can end justice, all that type of thing. I mean, I'm not good at remembering lyrics on the spin, but I do know the lyrics. The gospel singing is amazing. This part going to go, oh Lord, won't you please give us a sign? And you got the home go, still would stand all time. Oh heaven, we all want to find. And then the part goes, still we would stand all time. You're not alone, people. I just love that gospel bit. I go, if you just see the light, if you just open your eyes. If he just put a bit more soul gravitas into that, you know, really broke it down, it would just be like an Adore quality song. But as it is, it's still great. I'm still going to give it 10 out of 10. Oh, by the way, I gave Melody Cool 6. I mean, still would stand all time. I can't really talk about it too much. You just have to go out and listen to a song that great. That song's just brilliant. And then we get into again, the sequencing on this album was just absolutely atrocious. We get into virtually probably the worst song on the album, and that's Graffiti Bridge. This is again like some 80s thing, having sugar forced down your throat. Okay? And it starts off going, everybody wants to find Graffiti Bridge, something to believe in, a reason to believe in, there's a heaven above. Everybody looking for a perfect life. Okay, so you get the idea. Very annoying, no real message, just basically about looking for destiny. I mean, if you haven't already followed the atrocious plot of the movie, it's hard to pick it up. I mean, it's a good reason why he stuck it at the end of the album. By that time, after Still Would Stand All Time, no one needs to hear another note because they're just left with a pit of ecstasy. And if they listen to Graffiti Bridge, they realise that just a minute, this is not Sign of the Times Part 2. This is fucking Graffiti Bridge. This is the most overproduced album in history. And I just can't say anything nice about this song. It's just like having someone open your mouth up and just basically pour about 20 litres of Hello Kitty flavoured instant lemonade down your throat, basically, with all the food colourings and artificial flavours to the point where you basically have a sugar high and die, and you see Rainbow Bright surrounded by a field of rainbows and My Little Ponies. Okay, so 0 out of 10. No, I'll give it 1. I'm not going to say it's as bad as Da 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 or Face Down. It's pretty awful though. And then finally, the last song's New Power Generation Part 2. It's not really a song, it's just basically a part. It doesn't even like start of the build up. It just starts like someone's just turned the table and it goes, let me kick, and then it goes about, and they start singing the chorus from New Power Generation. And it gets into TCL's guys, yo Prince, yo let me rap, and then Prince goes, yo kick the big noise. And he goes, this here rap's about a true confession. If you listen closely, you might learn a lesson. You must know failure before success. Cocaine is a mess that I took on. It's actually quite a good rap. Like I said in the earlier videos, I don't mind it. I mean, he has actually got some technique. It is definitely a bit sort of too cutesy pie. Overall, I'd say TCL is a much better rapper than Tony ever turned out to be. But I mean, he's hardly Tupac, It's a positive way to end the album. I mean, probably the best thing about Graffiti Bridge, the album, is that at least the music's positive. It's all about self-improvement. It's about finding love and finding destiny. There's definitely a Christian tinge coming through. And that's definitely a lot different to some of the, negative, doom-laden rubbish that came out at the time, like all this gangster rap and all this, negative grunge metal and everything else. So in some ways it's good in that part. In other ways it's average. Overall, I give it 7 out of 10, that song, and also the whole album gets his mark around 7 out of 10 as well. I mean, it's not as good as his earlier stuff, but I mean, it definitely gets much worse from here. I mean, there are some good albums coming up, but there's also some absolute rubbish. Overall, I mean, it was a strong enough album to re-establish Prince as a commercial force, but it wasn't strong enough to extend his career far into the 90s. Pretty much, I mean, he'd have 2 more big albums after this one, and then basically things would really die off when Prince became a cult artist. Still, I do like this album, but I don't love it. I mean, I like it, but I don't love it. I mean, it's a necessary album, I guess. One good thing about it too is that it very quickly ended up in the bargain bins everywhere, and that's why I've basically got the CD, and I've also got the record copy there, and you can see I've got the 2 singles on the wall. So there's my Graffiti Bridge review, and thank you for watching.